Much better performance than on Friday.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you come off that loss and you come out today and just from the start, you dominate them. I mean, you held them to 33 points. That was the fewest ever in a Pac-12 game that you guys have held the team to.
Well, I think that it was huge for us because the way that we lost, the manner in which we lost, Stanford is better right now, but they're not 30 points better. So I think for us, but they forced us and made us do things we weren't good at. And I thought they did an incredible job, but we could have laid down and we could have been, blaming each other for things and pointing the fingers and stuff like that. But we didn't do that. So our true character shows when things are tough, and things were tough. And they were tough this whole weekend, tough conversations yesterday, and to bounce back and play the way we did. Played team basketball, played Arizona basketball, didn't take shots that other teams want us to take. We took shots that we wanted and didn't settle. Didn't shoot the three well, but we did so many other things. We had great looks, so I'll live with that. I'm very, very happy with the way we played.
And what did you just think about the defense? I mean, held them to 33% shooting, and then you forced 31 turnovers.
Yeah, I thought our defense was phenomenal. I thought that there was just a couple minutes, but we put more closer to 40 minutes of good basketball. I thought pressure. I thought, guarded our man better or guarded our woman better. Just played better position defense, got into the stuff we were doing faster. I think that sense of urgency wasn't there, but it took us getting slapped in the face to do it. So when we didn't get slapped, we got punched in the face. But then we were on our heels. So for us to come back and respond, it shows a lot about the competitors that they are.
And you guys said
very, very happy.
You had 50 points in the paint, and Trinity and Kate were both ridiculously efficient. I mean, with the way you guys shot the ball against Stanford, I imagine the game plan today was just to get the ball inside.
No doubt. We should always get the ball inside. But for them to be 16 for 18, I mean, or 15 for 18. That's a really good stat. But the game plan was to get the ball inside. And that was a challenge because Cal's really good in the paint. They have really good athletes. They start 4 post players. So we wanted to win the battle of the paint. And I thought Trinity and Kate responded well with efficiency and just had a real sense of urgency. And I thought Ari played a phenomenal game. It's not all about only scoring 30 points, but she enabled us to score 30 points. So she had 12 points and a couple got taken away off of like a turnover because of an offensive foul. So she would have had 18. But if we see Ari had 12 points, 8 assists, 6 steals, I mean, that's a phenomenal stat line. And the 2 turnovers, I don't feel like they were turnovers. One was a jump stop, which we work on. One was a spin move. I think she's just so fast. It looks like a turnover, but she would have normally not. I don't think she had any turnovers. They were legit. So a perfect game, got her teammate involved, was a true leader on the floor. She did things today that I love for her to do. She recognized some mismatches. She asked me, hey, can we call this? Yeah. I mean, I like when she's thinking about that. She's trying to isolate her teammates. She made a conscious effort to do that. And I thought she played a perfect game.
Javier?
Hey, Adia. As you guys now are going to go to Washington this week coming up, where do you feel like you guys are at 9 games into the season, development-wise?
Not exactly where we need to be. But you remember, I always say this. Remember, we didn't play a non-conference. So normally, right now, we're 9 games in. This is normally like not even the end of our non-conference. So everything's so early. So you use those 13 games just to work kinks out and to get better. We've gotten better. I think we got better since Friday. I think the last 2 weeks we've improved as a team. We're not shooting the ball like we should right now, but we have capable shooters. So Sam's not going to go 0 for 5. Ari's not going to go 0 for 2. Usually she gets a couple more. But I like that we weren't settling for that. I mean, if you look a couple games ago, we would have had 25 threes. That's not our strength, but it's going to come because we're going to work on it every day. I'm someone that every week we're going to focus on getting better at the little things. We're not where we need to be. We're not, and we saw that. It was a good test on Friday, but we saw where we're at and what our weaknesses are. So now it's time to go back to the drawing board and to get better at those weaknesses and improve as a team daily. We're not just going to, we're going to work on our bright spots, but we're also going to work on our deficiencies. So in another month, you're going to see a better team. And that's my job, and it's to change things up. I'm changing a few things up, and I'm doing different things, and hopefully it works. But that's what I'm supposed to do. But the players respond. We have competitors. We have players that go at it, that don't lay down, and they responded after a loss, and that's what I'm really proud of.
Just to expand on that with Kate, obviously she hasn't hit her stride yet. What are your thoughts about how her season's going?
I think Kate's having a great season. I think that last game we did not give her the ball. She didn't play bad because she didn't have a chance to play bad, because she took a couple shots. So her and Trinity, they weren't a factor because we didn't enable them to be a factor. So that's my fault. So I made the corrections and said, hey, we have to get them the ball, because I think last game I said with we're running a play, the play is for them, but then we were shooting the ball. So today it was like, we are running this play. You cannot shoot the ball has to go here. And I think that our players responded and were receptive and did that. They were looking for the post, because we're not a good team, and we won't win championships if we don't play inside and out. We need balance. I mean, today we had 3 people in double digits, almost 4. We need to have 4 or 5. And that next person, it can be Sam and Lauren. And actually Bendu too. So those are all capable players of getting 10, 15, 20 points a game. So we have to have balance, because the more balance we have, the easier it is. I mean, we were extremely efficient from the floor. We were 51% because we took good high percentage shots. When we take low percentage shots, we aren't going to be efficient and we aren't going to win games. So it's my job to bring that out and figure out what exactly we need to run to do that. But we're not where we need to be at all. We're not ready to win a Pac-12 title yet. We went against number 1. We got our butts kicked. I was going to say something else, but we got our butts kicked. So, and it was worse than butts kicked. It was way worse. You guys have some chosen words for that, and so do I. But it's the reality. So sometimes those games are good to let you know where you're at and what you have to work on. And our goal is, it's not about Cal, it's not about Washington. It's not about Washington State. It's about us, and it's about getting better to reach our goals. And I thought we got better today. Are we where we need to be? Absolutely not. We are not where we need to be. We do have to improve, but we're on the right track. And the players did everything I asked them today. And I'm proud of that, because we're going to get better, and we're getting better.
PJ?
So, I know, especially now, you're not focused on the numbers and the rankings and all that stuff.
No.
But for you as a team, how big was this game for your mentality, for your mindset, all that kind of stuff?
Very big, because last year you saw how did we respond after we got a butt kick. I remember last year clearly, Oregon was like that Stanford game on Friday. So responding the next day is says a lot, because it's very easy to play well when everybody's honky-dory, everybody's making shots, everybody's scoring 20. It's like easy to play. It's hard to play when Ari had a tough night on Friday. Kate everybody had tough nights, and then to come back and respond and play well and play as a team, that's important. So I think the character of our team, who we are. So we've won in different ways these last 9 games. We've had 3 big games with double-digit deficits. We've held leads. We've been on the road. We've got some gritty wins on the road. So we've been able to do things at different ways. We got punched in the mouth up and down the floor for 40 minutes on Friday, but then we respond with a better performance on Sunday. So those are things that are going to prepare us for, Pac-12 tournament, deep in the Pac-12 and the tournament. So that's why I'm proud of us. We stayed together. We're not becoming fragmented. We're together. Our culture is strong, all those things. So now we have another test. I'm excited. We go to Washington State. That is a tough road trip. But so it's another test for us. And I'm just excited the way we're responding, and we need to get better before the Washington trip. And I think that that's going to be a fun trip that's going to test us again.
David?
Dia, when you say you had some tough conversations yesterday, was that a team conversation? Were there some individual conversations you had to have with specific players to kind of get them right for what needed to be done moving forward?
It was constructive criticism, and it was reality. And it's what we all needed. It was brutal. Like, I'm very transparent. I believe in brutal honesty, which is hard. Coach Joe Mamacini was always brutally honest with me, and I didn't like it at the time, but it helped me grow. So I think brutal honesty is important. And I think being honest and evaluating where we're at as a team and what our weaknesses are. We talked about those things. We're not good at X, Y, and Z. We need to get better at X, Y, and Z. And then individually across the board, what that person needs to bring and how. And so, and we talked about that. And it's not something we normally don't have conversations after every loss. That's not the way it is, but just a conversation about where we're at and what we need to do to attain our goals and to reach our goals. And, and reminding people it's, I think these are young players. Hindsight's always 2020. If I knew what I know now when I was 20 or 19, I would have been a much better player. So reminding players that you don't only get better in practice, you get better and you always go back to your habits, right? So you get better with skill work, you get better with taking extra shots. Those are things that players can do on their own. And those are things that you have time to do right now during the break. Everybody's in online classes. Everybody has time to go work on their game. So if you're not shooting well, if you're shooting 20%, we went down across the board, then you need to get in the gym and take shots and stuff like that. So I think that, if you're not shooting free throws well, you don't just say, I'm not shooting free throws well, I want to shoot free throws well. You need to go in and work on it because there's only so much we can do in practice. You can't have 3-hour practices during the season. You have to go 1.5 hours, and then players have to take accountability to work on their own. And I talked about the difference between good and great teams because championship teams do that. Teams that are mediocre and average don't, but that's why 99% of teams are average, right?
When you walk into the locker room at halftime and you see 20 turnovers that you forced, did you realize that it had gotten to that high a number as it was happening in that first half?
Yeah, I knew, but nowadays it's hard to see the stat sheet. We got the iPad stuff. It's just a pain. It's like I don't like it at all. But yeah, it's like hard. We can't even figure it out halftime or see it. But I knew there was a lot of turnovers. I didn't know exactly the number until we looked at halftime. But I'm just proud. It wasn't about that. It was more about us getting back to our defense. So I knew that because we were in position. There was a couple possessions where the ball's just being flung around the perimeter. So then I know we're not in the right position. But I think overall we were just solid defensively. But they took it personal and they took pride in their matchups. And that's important. I think that we're always going to be in help. We're going to do those things, but you can press a little harder when you know your teammate has your back. And I think that they stepped up and, we got our butt kicked on high post drives. And so I thought our players stepped up and did a better job of guarding the high post. So I think those little things are things we wanted to work on to get better. And I thought that we responded well.
Ryan?
So you're talking about the need to play inside out. You took only 11 threes today. Against Stanford, you took 25. Is there like a certain number that you're looking at, or is it just depending on what, like the quality of the shot?
Depending on the quality of the shot, I don't look at the number. I don't, but we're not a team where I want us to take 25 threes. Like we are not Oregon, and we do not shoot like Oregon. So we should not take attempts like Oregon. They're a better shooting team. We do other things well. We have great athletes that are great one-on-one, get to the rim players. So I think that we need to take the shots we want. And we can't take those drives on initial sets because the whole defense is set. So Stanford didn't guard us. They didn't, but we were baited into shots that they want us to take. And then they're in rebounding position. So I think that for us, it was getting back to things we do well and getting the shots we want. And I don't like offense where it just stays on one side of the floor or someone dribbles 10 times or anybody, the post or guards. I don't think post need to dribble 7 times. I don't think guards need to dribble 8 or 10 times. I think the ball needs to not stick. We say don't stall the ball, reverse it and work on the both sides. So you saw a lot more reversal today. And that's my expectation for our offense. And then we get shots we want. And I want it deeper in the shot clock. If we don't score fast, I want to score deeper in the shot clock. And so I think for us doing that, if that means we took 11 threes, we took all open threes, I'm fine with that. And I don't care what the numbers are. Today we were 1 for 11. That's fine because we took open shots. That's what I want. I didn't want today our game to be 23s. I don't want that. Now for some games, if we're hot, if we're feeling it, Sam's, shoots 10 because she's 8 for 10. Helena comes out. I'm okay with that in the flow of the game, but I want good high percentage shots.
And you always talk about how you don't value offensive rebounds. I just want to know like what your philosophy is on that. Cause you say that a lot.
Yeah. So I don't care about offensive rebounds because I'm not going to send some people send 3 or 4 to the boards. I don't believe in that because I think transition defense is more important. So I will send 1, 2, sometimes I'll send a third, pick and choose. It depends on the situation, who we're playing. But because the reality is if you send 2 more, we don't have like a Dennis Rodman type rebounder. We don't have if we had a really good, like springy, huge, athletic, I would probably send 3 to the boards. And then we got people like Ari that can stop the ball. But for me, I would much rather give up less points in transition defense than send 3 people to the boards and maybe get 1 or 2 more boards for the game, but then give up 10 more points in transition. So I want us to be very good in transition defense, and I don't really care about offensive rebounding. And if we can get 7's good. I don't care if we get 10 and then we give up 10 more points, because to me, it's not as valuable. That's just my philosophy.
And Darren didn't play today, and she didn't look like she was in uniform. Is there any update that you can share with us about that?
Yeah, she just had a sore back. So it was something she could have played today, but a sore back. We don't want to get a back screen and get hit in the back. So she'll be ready to play. She's practicing. She's fine, but it's just not a situation where we wanted to play her today. We wanted to make sure we have her for next week and let her rest a little bit.
David?
Is that philosophy on the offensive rebounding, was that something that came from Joan, or is that just something you kind of realized throughout your career?
No, I think it's just realizing through my career, because you play so much transition defense in a game. So for me, I think it's also personnel. Now, if we had, 3 incredible, just like their knack is for the ball and great rebounders, maybe we'd rebound a little bit more, but I don't believe that us sending 1 more person to the board, maybe getting 1 or 2 more offensive rebounds. I believe in my philosophy, we're going to give more points up in transition defense than we are going to do converting on offensive rebound. Think of a game. Great. Some of the best in the country have, let's say 13 to 17 offensive rebounds, but we don't have that personnel. Like, Michaela Owen Ware, I'd be crazy to not let her crash. But it's like, I think you have to know your personnel, know your team's strengths and weaknesses. And a lot of our sets, a lot of our offense is 4 out. So it's really hard to also crash from the perimeter and then get back in transition defense. So I just choose not to. Now, if our team was different, I'd probably change some of that. I kind of adapt to who we have. But my philosophy is it's more important to be better in transition defense. It's much more important than the crash offensive rebounds, percentage-wise.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Coach.
you.
All right, we're going to get started here. Javier, you got the first question?
Oh, yeah.
All right. For both of you guys, just comment about what it was like to practice yesterday, coming off that loss against Stanford. What was the theme? What was the attitude with Coach Barnes?
We went over the stuff that we had messed up on in the game on Friday, and it was a more learning thing. We just made too many mistakes that we can't afford to make against the number 1 ranked team, and we're going to get better. And I think we showed that today. It was definitely a bounce back win, and it shows our character.
PJ?
Trinity, comment about your performance, the way you were able to produce against the Cal, coming off the game against Stanford.
I really just wanted to come in and do my job. Well, start off the game and do my job for my teammates. It was a tough loss, and we know that we're better than that. So I just wanted to just do whatever it takes to win. That's all I'm here to do, is help my teammates win. So.
Yeah, I hate to interrupt, but can we get record rights, please? We don't have record rights on this side, please.
Okay, you should be good now. Sorry. PJ, go ahead.
Sure. You guys came out with an intensity on defense and went to the full court press pretty quick. We haven't seen that in a while. Maybe it's just that you're coming off this loss and everything, but sort of what was sort of your mindset coming in, especially on defense? Because that really started it off like it usually does for you.
I think just coming out ready and prepared and just all on point is something we've been working on all season. And we did an okay job, I feel like, on Friday, but then we kind of lost it. And so today we were really focusing on, not burying us in a hole, just starting out strong, all on point, sharing the ball, working as a team like we know how to do. And I think that wasn't our defense Friday. So we had to come out here and prove what Arizona defense is. And I think that we did a great job of that. And we just need to continue that going into the Washingtons next weekend.
Kim?
Cal they were competitive against ASU on Friday, and then we know what happened here. How important was it for you as far as confidence to be dominant today and not let them do what they did against ASU, hang around?
I would say for me personally, last year they came in and they embarrassed us on our home floor last year. And that was definitely something we did not want to allow to happen this year. And just knowing that we did lose on Friday and that we have to be able to bounce back in hard games and difficult times, and just all that stuff were factors. And I think that really helped us to motivate us to be ready for this game today.
Javier? Javier, you're on mute.
Okay, we're only 9 games into the season. Normally, you guys would be finishing your non-conference schedule at that many games. But how do you feel like you're progressing this year so far through these 9 games?
Was that for me?
Yeah, that's for you, Kate.
Okay. I would say I'm working on my defense. I think that I'm continuing to get better. There's definitely more stuff I need to work on. Just popping back and being able to guard on a switch or on help. I think that's something I struggle with sometimes, and I think I'm getting better. I just need to continue to work on it and just be ready for, the second half of the Pac-12 conference and just help out my teammates as much as I can, like Trinity said.
Thank you.
David?
Trinity just said they had 11 turnovers in the first quarter and 20 in the first half. How aware are you guys of that fact when the game's going on, that they're just giving you the ball that much in that succession, allowing you guys to have those advantages at the offensive end?
Like Kate said, that's our defense, Arizona defense. We play aggressive. We play in the passing lanes, and we want to force turnovers. So when we play our defense, we're able to get transition points and play to our strengths. So I think that's something we really wanted to focus on this game, is just playing our defense like we should.
PJ?
Yeah, Kate, when you see Trinity come out and show this aggression and really on both ends of the court, I mean, she was, she started out getting a couple of those rebounds, and then even on the points that she scored, I mean, the way she scores, she sort of backs in and finds that daylight and then inside and then scores. What does that do for the rest of the team, and what's that like playing with someone who's like that?
I mean, I think it's great. I mean, you see Trinity, she's obviously strong, but I think you underestimate her until you have to guard her. And then she backs you down. It's really difficult to be able to kind of push back. And so she does a great job of getting in the paint and scoring layups like that. So that's really helpful to us, because then, when she does that, no one can really, they help. And then there's a corner, and she does a great job of seeing and finding people. So it definitely helps to have someone like Trinity where she can do both. She can see the core and pass, and also be able to make layups like that and shoot the three.